More things, some ordered recently, some ordered long ago. As far back as the end of January this year. So, no idea what could be here. Aha! D-sub gender changers. So these are 25-pin male-to-male adapters. So if you have a female cable and another female cable or a female connector on the back of a computer or something, as in a computer from the 80s or 90s, this is how you can adapt cables to connectors. I've been collecting up all kinds of these, different sizes and formats. DB25, 25-pin male plug to 25-pin male, parallel gender changer coupler adapter mini, $1.49 each from Daily Appliance 2010. Just ramping up to get ready to have all kinds of cables and interfaces available when I dig out those old computers. Not described. So this one is a mystery pack, but it did arrive recently. So I recently ordered this, and for a second there I thought there was nothing in it. So all of that fancy packaging for, so I'll have to look this up and double check. 10 pieces SW180 15P electronic vibration sensor switch FF. 10 of these, 99 cents from Fashion Fat. Alright, on that note, this is not the seller that I bought these from. I have several eBay listings that have gone corrupt. Sometimes it seems it's because the seller took away the item, but sometimes it's even got different items. Like there's one, I've already received it. I think it was the OBD2 connector, but in my eBay list, it shows that I bought this $300 and something actual handheld scanner unit, not just a little cheap connector, and that it's already shipped. But hey, I never got that in the mail, so something's all weird. So some of these mail bags, especially digging out parts I have ordered a long time ago and I'm only just opening, sometimes I have to reverse engineer where the listing came from. So it's reasonable that I might have paid $1 to get 10 of these. And there's the part number on it, which is how I reverse engineered this, SW-180 15P. So they say it's a spring-loaded, non-directional vibration sensor trigger switch, and so you can use it at any angle. When it is at rest, it's in the off state. When there's vibrations, it'll go to the on state as whatever's in there, the spring, shakes around and makes contact with the other plate. So it's a momentary spring action, and you'll have to have something to detect momentary switch contact closures. Apparently you can use this 200,000 times, and it's only meant as a low current circuit switch, which we can probably gather from this very thin filament wire type thing that probably looks like it's going to break when you solder to it. And here's a data sheet. I guess you can use this for vibration sensing in a security device, a scale, or toys. They put the comma in the wrong place for 200,000 cycles. So basically, you've got this sensor sitting here, and when it goes bow, wow, 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 you can detect it. Okay, voltage less than 12 volts, current less than 50 milliamps, contact resistance less than 30 ohms. All the rest of this doesn't really matter for the workbench. We're not designing something. So you can install it vertically or horizontally. It'll still just move around and make contact when it vibrates. So this very thin filament wire makes the spring, and then this bigger heavy-duty pin is just a fixed center post, and this thin spring sloshes around and makes contact. And this is described as reed sensor, R-E-E-D. Now, it's a module. So it looks like an LM393 with a set point adjust for a comparator output, and it's a reed switch, but it looks broken to me. So, I don't know if it'll still work, but yeah, that is broken. And I'm pretty sure I ordered some other independent reed switches because I kind of anticipated this situation. So that's fine. I do have this board now if I do get my reed switches in another shipment. Reed sensor module, magnetron module, reed switch, MagSwitch for Arduino. How many combinations of reed and magnetic can we get? $1 for from Leap Shop. So it has this reed switch here, which basically has two metal tabs slightly overlapping, and if you bring a magnet near, it'll bring the contacts together and cause a complete circuit. Take the magnet away and it's an open circuit. So things like this might be used in alarm systems, so when a door or a window is closed, there's a magnet placed near here, and when you move that door or window, it'll open or close the switch depending how this is set up. So this looks like a little comparator circuit. It's got a power LED and a switch open or closed LED, and you give it power ground and you have an output on or off based on if this is open or closed. Okay, they're saying we can use this kind of sensor for a duplicator, washing machine, refrigerator, camera, disinfector, electronic scale, juice level gauge, gas meter, and water meter, etc. I would like to see example circuits and projects of these kinds. Working distance 1.5 meter? I don't know about that. Operating voltage is probably a more realistic spec out of all of this. 3.3 to 5 volts, I can believe that. And your output is going to be 0 or 1, I can believe that. I can also believe the color is as shown in the pictures. Sometimes it's not, but I did get a blue board. So here we go with the reed switch. It's operated by an applied magnetic field. It was invented at Bell Labs in 1936. Contacts can be normally open or closed, and you can make a reed relay if you have a coil to actuate this whole mechanism. So when you energize the coil on a reed relay, you're creating an electromagnet that will pull those contacts in. You can use a reed switch as a proximity switch for a burglar alarm. And that's apparently what a burglar alarm looks like. And there's the typical looking proximity sensor that you might see attached around doors and windows. So I've never used a reed switch before, but here's a good picture of what it looks like. So mine's cracked over on the edge, and I'm just going to try to place it back together with the contacts slightly overlapping and then dab some hot glue and see what happens. This says jumper cable, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, it actually is jumper cables. So the ends are stripped and tinned, and you can just throw those straight into a breadboard. I just wanted to have another stock up of jumpers. DuPonts are great, but sometimes you just want something that'll lie low to the board or just go a weird short distance. If you have a lot of these DuPonts all the same size crossing over each other on the breadboard, they can get in the way. So with this, you can kind of keep it low to the board or let it loop up higher and bend them as you see fit. And let's see how they fit. Okay, I've opened up this red package. These are very small gauge, but they do go into the breadboard. So I wouldn't use those for my everyday breadboard jumpers. Maybe these would also work well if you need to solder them to some sort of a module like this, if you need to get something right onto a chip lead. These are already pre-tinned, so you can put them on a potentiometer, a whole lot of options. As usual, it's good to have things around. Jumper Cable Breadboard Solderless Electric Wire Test Arduino Wire 6 centimeters. $1.33 for all of this from Maizien. So there's a bundle of black, a bundle of red. I thought that's convenient for power connections at least. They're about 6 centimeters long. They are tinned at both ends, and you get 200 of each color. So that's a good bundle for the low cost, considering they are pre-stripped and tinned, ready for putting into a breadboard or soldering onto something. The day wouldn't be complete without an expansion board module. So which one's this? That is not an expansion board module. What a lie! Although these are potentiometer knobs with a set screw and a heavy-duty kind of feel that I've been looking for by reading the descriptions of envelopes. No wonder I couldn't find these. So these have a good hefty feel to them compared to some of those other plastic ones. And I've been ordering different styles to suit all the kinds of needs I have. This one has a set screw, so it's not a knurled input, and it's not a half moon. It's just a straight round cylinder for those kinds of potentiometer or whatever other switch shafts where there's nothing for a knob to grip onto. You just have to use the set screw. Now I have a bunch of these. Again, as usual, just collecting up a whole bunch of parts because I know I have all kinds of potentiometers and switches and encoders all over the place that have different kinds of shafts on them. So I think at this point I've received enough variety that I can cover any of the needs I have. 10 pieces of 16mm rotary control turning knob F-hole 6mm diameter shaft potentiometer. 10 of these, $1.97 from DIY Box. So these look fancy and metallic and heavy duty, so for an actual project instead of just on the breadboard, these might look fancy on a box, especially for some audio effects like guitar circuits. So it's plastic and metal, black with silver tone, looks slick. It fits a shaft that's 6mm diameter, and it's got a built-in set screw to make it adjustable as long as you can get this on a pot or encoder shaft, then you can tighten it down and make it permanent. So some universal little jumper wires that are pre-tinned and easy to solder onto stuff or use in breadboards with a little finesse. Some DB25 gender changers, set screw style potentiometer knobs, a reed switch interface with a busted reed switch, and some mechanical vibration sensors with really delicate leads. A little bit of practical and restocking stuff, and a little bit of new adventures waiting to happen.